get this bad boy underway. Insane docket, man. It feels good to have shows during the bull market because there's just so much to talk about week over week. Plus, it's our first show of 2025, which means we're going to get some predictions in there as well as a tiny bit of reflections on 2024. But prepare yourselves for a powerhouse panelist with pixels in his veins and muscle to match. He's not just a lover of indie games; he's a lifter of underdogs, a champion of the quirky and the creative. He's also the man who introduced Balatro to me, that bastard, because it took up at least 70% of my holiday vacation, as well as ruined several of my friends' relationships with their significant others whenever I introduced them to it this weekend. It's the Smash Bros. Slayer. It's Will's.
Yo, I was doing exactly the same thing all Christmas, just Balatro, 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 Balatro. It was a hell of a holiday, I'll tell you that.
Dude, absolutely insane. I know I was joking about how it was like a 5 for me last episode 3 weeks ago. It's like a 9.8 for me now, dude. I'm officially I'm sunk in, dude. Up next, he's the maestro who's making mobile magic, the virtuoso who's voyaging into the pandemonium of bullet hell bliss with Call of the Void, the game that's got iOS and Android by storm. But don't think for just a moment he's some one-trick pony. This titan of the touchscreen left his mark on gaming giants like Jagex, King Mobile, Miniclip, and Rovio. Get ready to welcome the maestro of mobile magic, the bullet hell baron, the virtuoso of the void. It's Matthew Buxton.
Great to be back, and it's great to be here in 2025 with all these lovely people. It's just been a crazy, crazy time. Everything's going up, and I just love it. I love it. It's finally like how we hoped it would be.
We used to pray for times like this, Matthew Buxton. What a time to be alive. Excited to be in the trenches with you, brother. Up next, hold on to your hot dogs because this next guest is not only a financial phenomenon, but a certified glizzy gobbling god. That's right, he can devour a plate of Franks faster than you could say decentralized. He's the architect behind Glitter Cloud Solutions, a Web3 consultancy that doesn't just glitter, it's gold. This man once wielded a $100 million budget at Twitch Prime, conjuring up campaigns that captivated countless kids and creators. Now he's helping real games like in Web3, like Wanderers, Sparkball, Soulforge Fusion, and more. He's the Maharaja of making it rain in Web3 gaming. It's Tony Valkersel. Oh no, I can't hear Tony.
Oh, good. I
Also,
thought that was
also
just
can
me. I was gonna have to leave and come
hey
back.
yo, all right, I'll be Tony. Yeah, Sam, Maharaja is a fucking phenomenal usage of the word.
Tony is freaking
Wait, can you hear
amazing. We love
me now?
Tony.
Can you hear me now?
There he is.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
We did
sorry.
it.
I apologize. I was finishing my hot dog. But no, thank you for having me up here, guys. I really appreciate you. I'm on a new setup here at home, so I hope I sound okay. I've got a new microphone, and that's what I was messing around with just now. But let's go, boys!
Wait, hot dog or microphone, man? Pick. What's your reason?
Well, no, I mean I was eating the hot dog while also trying to fix the microphone. Really, it's like one hand does one does the other.
Sounds good.
That's why he's the glizzy gobbling god. Up next, this dude's journey started in the dusty plains of Web3 gaming, where he built Moku, a questing platform that turned ordinary gamers into godlike legions. But now he's expanding Moku into a meme coin metropolis with the launch of Ronin's very own Pump.Fun like experience, a revolutionary roller coaster of speculation that's about to turn the Ronin network upside down. Welcome to the panels, the Moku Mogul. Welcome, the Pump Fun Prince of Ronin. It's Hantao.
Wow, you came up with that so fast. I only talked about it this morning and you already have a new introduction. That's pretty wild. AI is getting so advanced now.
This is why I do not take meetings on Wednesdays or Mondays, is because you never know whenever the boys need a new intro. From co-founding blockchain at Berkeley to drafting ICO white papers that fueled $50 million in funding to curating conferences that spotlighted blockchain legends like Vitalik Buterin, this maverick has left an indelible mark on our industry. He turned UC Berkeley's classrooms into a launchpad for groundbreaking projects that raised another $25 million in funding as a student. No big deal. Add to that $910 million in fundraising at Forte and co-founding Game 7 to revolutionize decentralized communities. He's the trailblazer of trustless tech. Welcome to the stage. Once again, it's Ronin.
Yo, what's up, Sam? What's up, everyone? Thanks for having me. It's been great not having Gamified over the holidays, so I could stay off Twitter for a bit. And glad to be back. Bullish 2025. Excited to see everybody here.
Good to see you as well, brother. I couldn't agree more. It was really nice to not open Telegram or Twitter for like consecutive days. That was something my brain sorely needed. But I did severely miss talking to you guys every single week. Up next, from the venture capital vortex to the vast expanse of the metaverse, this valiant visionary has ventured where few dared to tread. Once a semi pro gamer himself, he swapped pixels for partnerships, conquering the crypto cosmos with charisma and charm. He's the Aussie ace of the Web3 race, the head honcho of holographic hustles. From Wilder World, it's Zen.
Yo, what is good, everyone? Thank you so much for having us here. I'm so excited. 2025, I think all of us are. That is the year we've all been waiting for. We have amazing builders and creators up here on stage. Very excited to kick this year off on this, obviously, industry-defining spaces here. So while the world has been cooking hard, I hope all of you saw the trailer. I'll link it up later here at the spaces. But we are ready. I hope you guys are ready, and all of us together are ready to bring this to the next era. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Been awesome seeing the announcements that you guys had over the holiday break. Seems like Wilder World really won that couple of weeks whenever people were with their families. I know I showed my family the Wilder World 30-minute video that you guys dropped on the 21st. Absolutely awesome to see. Up next, emerging from the smoke-filled backrooms of Macau, where fortunes are won and lost with a flick of a wrist, he's the man who dared to challenge the status quo. From advising esports giants to conquering the corporate jungle, he's now venturing into the untamed wilds of Web3 gaming with my angry Yakuza girlfriend. He's a daredevil of dialogue, a revolutionary of risk, and a master of making the impossible possible. The titan of taboo, the founder who can't be bought. You know it's Sinjin.
Happy New Year's, you Web3 peons. Let's fucking get it on.
I expect nothing else from the big dog himself. And up next, he's not just a former firefighter and EMS hero. He's a financial force to be reckoned with a business brawler who's always got a hot take and a cool head. He's got a physique that can make a Greek god consider plastic surgery, and he's rumored to have the ability to argue that water isn't wet. Tighten your laces and turn up the volume on the golden god. It's Jerry Singer.
Yo, it's crazy. I didn't realize this was episode 99. I feel like this is looking at the phone today was kind of weird. This is really cool to have be part of 99 of these, Sam. So thanks for having me. Excited to talk about the past and the future.
Jerry, the Golden God singer, maybe the person who's attended the most gamifieds ever. It's either besides Lems, of course. Sinjin would also be in the running there. Knock also up there. It's absolutely insane how much you guys have dedicated to this show. Really, really appreciate you. Can't wait to celebrate with you on episode 100, and then 104 is also going to be meaningful to me because that means 52 times two. That's basically 2 straight years of episodes minus a couple that we've taken a hiatus on. Up next, he's not just a founder, he's a phenomenon, amassing collections that would make museums weep with envy. From vintage VHS tapes to the crispest 4K films, from rare vinyl records to the freshest kicks on the market, this man's got an eye for quality and passion for preservation. He's the founder of Parallel, the #1 trading card game in Web3, but he's also a curator of culture, a champion of classic cool, and a collector of all things awesome. Please welcome the man who's got more collectibles than a Comic-Con convention and as cool as a cucumber. It's the king of the cards. It's Koji.
Hey, thanks, Sam. Yeah, I love filling my house full of shit, and the rest of my family fucking hates it. But I appreciate that you made it sound like at least somewhat cool. Uh, yeah, I'm excited to be here. The only reason I'm not on the top of that attendee list is A, I gotta work, but B, I wasn't here from the beginning. You didn't invite me, so I'm taking that personally. I'm also really happy to see some of my favorite people up here that I don't normally see, like Zen and Hantao. So shout out to those guys.
Things you love to see. Doing my best to diversify the panels. Also, if anybody feels like there's somebody that should be on Gamified regularly, or at least get a shot at the limelight, slide in my DMs. Let me know. I wanna make sure that we're mixing it up. Also with Simplified, of course, we've got basically 20 panelist spots every single week. I love my regulars, but I also want to make sure we're giving eyes to new talent. Been awesome seeing the rise of Kevin Lambert, Michael O'Connor, another one that drops in from time to time and just blows my mind every time. Up next, he's the gamer who gamed the gamers, the pro who manages the pros, the esports king who crowned the next generation from Fortnite to Valorant. He's traded headshots for headsets, swapped frags for finance, and now he's the maestro of Magic Eden. Put your hands together for the man who mastered the art of the game, the guru of the good times, the one and only. It's Knock.
Yo, seeing Koji post about all the shit that he's been collecting over the last week may have triggered me on Pokemon cards, and I cannot stop ripping packs. Somebody help.
Sorry, too busy ripping packs myself to help you.
This is so bizarre to me that you guys are still ripping physical Pokemon packs in
Yeah.
2020. I understood it whenever it was the app, and I was like, yeah, I also want to collect the 100 151 because it's just deeply entrenched in my brain as for nostalgia. But to open physical Pokemon packs like now just feels bizarre.
Yeah. It's weird. Did you guys are fake losers, all of you guys, because you guys all come on this show and shit on Pokemon every chance you get, and then one new card set comes out, and you guys just go fucking crazy, dude.
I'm a real loser, man. I shit on Pokemon. I've never opened a fucking pack. That game sucks.
Game does suck, but I'm opening packs on both mobile and real life right now. Can't fucking stop. I've got a problem.
I love that Koji's new claim to fame is I'm a real loser. Okay, not one of those fake losers. Absolutely incredible. Up next, he's the programmer extraordinaire who's brought us playtime phenomena like Words with Friends and Lucky's Tale. You know who I'm talking about. He's the pioneering paladin who's battled alongside the best when crafting Age of Empires and Halo Wars. From perfecting physics to pioneering platforms, this playful programmer has proven his prowess in pushing pixels to the precipice of perfection. But don't let his powerful presence intimidate you. He's also a passionate player who loves to share his playful perspective and powerful personality with the world. So put your hands together for the man who's always pushing the boundaries of play, always pursuing the perfect puzzle, and always prepared to party with his fellow players. It's Paul Fedner.
I love that you gave me the programmer moniker. Like it's like this historic artifact because like programmers aren't a thing anymore. It's all AIs now, and so I'm proud of this like old fashioned thing I used to do that I loved doing, but now I just like prompt AIs to do it for me. And amazing employees, but I miss it. I miss it every day. Programming was like my comfort zone. Um, I am so thrilled. I came into 2025 with insane energy. Like there are so many things that we were gonna get done. We were ready to ship in at the end of 2024, and then we kind of held off because of all the chaos and everything else. And so we just shot out of the cannon of 2025 like a rocket. And feeling that same energy with everyone else feeling the same way is just like the best thing. Like it just it takes whatever energy I had and multiplies it by an order of magnitude. I am so feeling it. This year is going to be the best, most crazy, most amazing year we've all ever been through. And I'm so glad to be here doing it with y'all.
You love to hear it. I saw Ronan from Game 7 also slamming that 100 emoji. I've gotten a little sneak peek at what Game 7 is working on. Super, super exciting stuff. Wanderers also with their TGE coming up. We already talked about what Hantao is doing. Sinjin had an awesome end of year post, if anybody hasn't read that. Also, I want to apologize to Matthew Buxton, Dub, and some of the other guys. I'm going to be rotating some people in and out. Still getting my feet back under me from the holidays. Apparently, I forgot how to count. So I'm a little bit overbooked today, but I promise everybody will get their time in the spotlight. Last but not least, we got leaping from the lush depths of Lizard Labs. It's the lean green emoji slinging machine, weighing in at a whopping 2.4 pounds. He's the pint-sized powerhouse of puns and pocket-sized prince of panels. He's the champion of Oh Baby Cart and the co-host with the most right here on Gamified. Put your claws together for the little lizard legend himself. It's Lems. Can people hear Lems? Is it just me?
I can't hear him.
Fuck. All right, that's all right. We'll move on. We'll move on. He's gonna say GM and say that we got a lot of exciting topics and say what a panel and that Sam is really handsome, probably. All right, hold on to your helmets, heroes, and prepare for a cryogenic kickoff with a colossal shout out to our cutting edge comrades, the official chain of Gamified. It's Avalanche. They're not just the architects of the blockchain blizzard, they're the Frostforge foundation for the future of finance, the sub-zero savants making transactions faster than a polar bear on a toboggan, and the official blockchain of Gamified. And with Avalanche, you're not just playing the game, you're carving your own path and customizing your very own blockchain. What are you waiting for, dude? Just hit them up. Up next is the Game Changers of Game 7. They're bulldozing the barriers between gamers and glorious gameplay with their tremendous toolkit. Summon is the sonic boom of player retention. Hyperplay is your hyperspace express to hidden Web3 heavens, and World Builder is where wondrous in-game economies are woven into existence. So grab your game pads and gear up for Gaming Genesis with Game 7, the official infrastructure of Gamified. And of course, at Gamified, we shoot for the stars every single week, and our sponsor, Star Atlas, is rewriting the cosmos. This interstellar icon isn't merely a game, it's a space opera for the ages. With high fidelity visuals and gameplay slicker than sliding into a black hole, Star Atlas is piloting Web3 gaming into hyperdrive. And don't forget the Golden Carnival, where they're handing out $4 million in prizes. A cosmic salute to Star Atlas for sponsoring our voyage as the official game of Gamified. Speaking of cool releases, man, a couple of days ago they released some more gameplay to kick off the new year. absolutely sick looking what they've been launching. So super proud to have them in our corner as well. We're jumping in with the first topic of the year. You love to hear it. The biggest deal. You guys are going to tell me what's the biggest deal out of these three stories that are all correlated here. Seraph, the Diablo 2 like game out of the East, launches at an $800 million fully diluted value, now down to about $400 million. Sonic SVM launches and stays over a $2 billion fully diluted value. I checked about an hour ago. It's still above that mark. Congratulations to those guys. And then Xterio launches with underwhelming results. They've been getting arguably the most flack on crypto, Twitter, and gaming over the last few days here, sitting around $400 million fully diluted value and a few upset asset holders. My question again for you guys, what's the biggest deal here out of those three different stories? And if you want to toss in a little bit of is Web3 gaming back in there, I'll take that as well. Let's send it over to Tony from the Wanderers.
Guys, I think that Web3 gaming, I'm not going to say is back because I think in the context of this conversation, it might have never been here, and it's starting to become real, which is what I'm really excited about. I think that when you look at so I think it's a huge deal. It's a huge, awesome deal. I think the biggest deal, honestly, is unfortunately the negative deal with Xterio. I think that as we continue to see large, influential people in the space calling out bad actors, I hope they start to call out good actors equally as hard. We'll continue to move further and further toward product maturity as a space, and I just think that's a good thing, right? I think that what we're hearing loud and clear from these people is like, we're sad that we fell for something, right? And what we fell for was we thought these guys were going to build a product, and they didn't build a product. And so I think the logical next step is going to be, we're only going to support things that have like real products or real people behind them that are, have a track record and yada, yada, yada. So I think that's the biggest deal. And I think it's the biggest deal, hopefully for the right reasons, and that we're starting to reward the right things as an industry.
Inclined to say I'm aligned there with you, Tony. Let's go over to Wild Paul. Paul, out of Seraph, Sonic EVM or Sonic SVM, excuse me, and Xterio launches, what's the biggest deal for you out of these three?
It's really hard to not just pick the one that has the highest FDV as the biggest deal, especially because, embarrassingly, I was not paying attention to Sonic at all, and suddenly, like, it's this $2 billion thing that came out of nowhere, and it's just like, the reason I actually raised my hand was to encourage other people to raise their hand on this one. I have a particular viewpoint and perspective on sentiment when it comes to Web3 gaming that is unique as a Web3 game builder. But I'm really curious to know what other people are seeing and feeling and how they're like. So I just wanted to encourage other people to speak up and say, like, what are you feeling in the sentiment? Like, be honest, because obviously so much of the talk has been about AI and meme coin and whatever else. And from my particular vantage point, it's starting to feel very, very bullish for Web3 gaming again, mainly just because, like, this thing that I've detected every time we've gone in a bullish cycle, which is people start going like, oh, when's the next one? What's the next one going to get to? And like they're already like looking for the future opportunities that are going to potentially moon or whatever. And when I start to feel that energy, it tends to be the leading indicator of a big bullish cycle for something. And I'm feeling that just like trying to scan the horizon and seeing people kind of having that conversation. But I would love to hear if that's echoed amongst my peers and colleagues here.
Paul says, show me the money. That's the biggest deal. I'm going to go over to Zen from Wilder World to see if he agrees.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that's a good point. But what I really had hoped for Seraph was, that we get one of these, like breakouts, which would have indicated that there is a big push for gaming, even for a higher valuation, which in this case it hasn't happened. But it doesn't matter. I think the previous point was what Paul made is very much so. We see that I mean, especially coming from the Solana ecosystem, I think we see that there is a lot of community support happening for the right products or for people that are happy to really go into that and see the value. For me, honestly, like what the feedback that we've received also with the end of last year, I think there are a lot of people on the sidelines just waiting for the gaming run to kick off. Like, just we spoke to some of the biggest investors. For me, it's really something like it's tingling in my fingers. Just the bridge coming from AI to AI agent, and then to AI agent in gaming, hopefully. So, for me, a big deal or little deal. I think it's a pretty big deal to see that we have this attention going into a gaming project, especially at such a velocity. What we saw with Sonic SVM, and yeah, I just wanted to say that there's a saying, Sam, that you coined it yourself. Web3 gaming is inevitable, but I feel that this is all kind of the pre-cooking of the gaming run that we're all expecting, or that we all hope to come like over the next few months, hopefully. So these are my 2 cents to this.
Oh, baby, things you love to hear. Sorry, guys, I ran out of, I didn't get to see the order in which the hands went up, so everybody stay on your toes for that one. Let's go over to Sinjin, then I'm tagging in Ronan.
I think none of it's really a big deal right now. I mean, we've talked about every game that's ever launched on BNB chain and what the net result of that is. And I won't comment on the other 2 projects right now, but yeah, you know what? I'm really looking forward to something really innovative rather than a clone or hype this year. So for me, like the sentiment is like actually, obviously, like everyone's just talking about AI and obviously that is the biggest deal and how everything's going to be integrated with that for gaming or agents or so on and so forth. But the TGEs are just really not doing it for me right now. And these have been planned from last year, and they're looking for the opportune time to launch. So let's see what's really coming up with the actual games that launch with actual revenue and real players that are not just, holders and so on and so forth.
A bunch of absolutely banger comments. Awesome to see all the familiar faces. Non-fungible Taylor says, "Gamified's back, baby!" All caps. Jace Proberts says, "I was just finishing my hot dog referencing the Tony intro." Saigo says, "We stand gamified. I stand you right back, buddy." Icy says, "First gamified of 2025. We're so back." Jay Ryan says, "I changed my sleep schedule to be here." Moon that. I'll reiterate that.
And
Let's go
and
over
I
to
do
Ronan
I do just
Caprice.
need to thank you, Sam, for giving us Christmas off, because I was wondering there whether you were going to make us get on Gamify for Christmas. So I really appreciate that. That was a nice present.
Dude, Christmas Day and New Year's Day was just too savage. I couldn't do that big
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Ronan, over to you, buddy. What's the biggest deal here?
I think the biggest deal, honestly, is Xterio sitting in 400 million after all the FUD that they got. I didn't expect that to be that high. I was actually, I thought people are gonna dump it really hard. So I think that's like maybe good for them. I don't know if it's like the right sentiment, but outside of that, I think like sentiment-wise, I feel like I've been in an echo chamber following all you guys, seeing all the everybody's so bullish about Web3 gaming. So in my feed, Web3 gaming is definitely here. Everybody's super bullish. But if you're looking at the actual like sentiment data on a bunch of the dashboards that exist, I don't think Web3 gaming is like top of mind right now. Like everybody said, it's AI agents. We haven't seen like a peak in just like social and interest in the market. On the note of like launching a token right now, I think just mad props to all the founders that are willing to launch a token right now. I think there's a massive undertaking to launch tokens. I think launching a token in the market that's like unsure, it's even harder. So mad props for that. I think it's important to just keep in mind that while we all look at token launches and the FTV on day one as the testament whether the project is extremely successful or not, which obviously it's a function of hype and expectations, but I think the real business is like, can this team actually deliver over the long haul value to their users, value to the tokens, bring real players? Like, I think like token launch is really step one of every project and every game. And it's really, for me, it's like I'm always looking at projects like 3 to 4 years down the line. And if I believe in them, I think they're going to do well. And so mad props for all of you guys that are launching tokens now.
Big ups to everybody willing to take on that legal challenge as well as the development and all the time that goes into it. Let's go over to Koji Nagata, then I'm going to tag in Hantao.
Yeah, I'm with Sinjin on this. I don't care. Like, who cares about any of this? I mean, I guess like a bunch of people maybe made some money and some other projects didn't do as well as we thought, but like none of this is exciting or interesting to me if I'm being honest, man. Like I in, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but until like I'm out here playing a Web3 game, like I'm right now I'm playing the Bazaar because I'm addicted to it. Uh if I'm like on my computer right now playing a Web3 game, then I'm gonna get excited and be like, we're so fucking back, or we're there, or whatever. But right now, we're just like talking about, some tokens went up and some tokens went down and some shit like that we didn't expect happen. I don't care about any of this fucking shit, man. Like let's find something exciting and some games to play or whatever. This is all boring. So biggest deal, yeah, the one with the highest FTV, because it means people will ape into more bullshit, and then that'll be good for the rest of us, including my bank account.
Fresh off the holiday break, but Koji, the curmudgeon, is already in mid-season form. You love to see it. Absolutely incredible how you can just weigh us all down with that pessimism. Let's go over to hands out.
Yeah, so I am very dead inside, so I typically don't really care about anything, and I care less about some of these things like Seraph. Do they actually have players in their game, or are they just like pumping their own token? Sonic, I have to FUD because I didn't get the airdrop, so yeah, fuck Sonic. I don't even remember the third one. But anyways, I think AI is like not really robust in the same sense that people think it is, because most of it is just driven by LLMs and where you're getting your data sources from your APIs. And like, how are these single devs going to out dev a 3,000 people team with top of the line salaries and top of the line technology and access to information? It's just like, I don't really see that in this space right now. And I think the only reason people actually care about AI is because it's making them money. And I think that's part of the reason why Overworld really failed, was because they initially marketed to people in Web3 and they didn't really lean in hard enough to actually do Web3 stuff. Because I've heard on the back end that they are finding some success doing UA in Web2. And I think that's just really differentiating about where your users are coming from and why they're here. And the reason why people are here in this space is primarily to make money. And it's just like whatever's the highest velocity at that time, people will be interested in. And if gaming is something that can make them money, then they'll be interested in gaming too.
Inclined to agree with you there. I just want to give a huge shout out to people in the comments. Already 50 comments, 17 retweets. It's amazing to see that everybody missed Gamified. I missed you guys too. Thanks so much for the support. Let's send it over to Jerry. Then we'll tag in Knock.
Yeah, I might have a bit of a bias here, but I agree with Hantao in that, like, I don't know if Seraph has people playing it, or if VCs just pump their own bags on that. But Sonic I also missed, so also fuck them. And I think the big deal here is Xterio and how poor this is going for them, right? And I think we look at these Web3 native teams, and like, everybody likes to say that they're not a Web3 native, or this isn't their native industry or whatever. But it's like, you've been here for 2 years. When do you get to call yourself a native? And like, you should start to understand it at some point. And I give a lot of credit to the teams who have gone in the trenches and who have started to, Fableborn is this way. Maria's not a Web3 native person, but like, she wasn't at one point, and now she's the most Web3 native person. And how these teams continue to fuck things up is just painful to watch, man. And I don't know where some of these decisions get made, or how some of them get made, that you can allow yourself to lose before you ever gave yourself a chance to win. Because, you know, I admire some of these people coming up here and saying that, like, people are so brave for launching tokens in right now. Like, Bitcoin's $100,000. This is a for the length that we've been doing this show, this is one of the better times to launch a token, right? So if you're scared to launch one when Bitcoin is up like it is, when do you launch it, right? And these things don't happen in a vacuum. A token launch is a long, drawn out, arduous process. And it's clear when a token launch goes badly, like some of these have, and some of these are going to go, that there was a lot of mistakes made along the way. And how do you make some of these mistakes when you're in this space every day, when you're supposed to be in these trenches every day and understanding what's going on? So now you've launched a token that nobody wants to buy. So what do you do? How do you start to win people back? And I think that's a really scary position to be in for some of these teams, because they were supposed to be the teams that are getting it right. They're well capitalized, they're well connected. You know, they're supposed to have everything going for them that we would want to see in a game team or a studio or a publisher, but they're still not doing it right. So at what point, do you right the ship and do you start to win? And now you've lost one of your biggest weapons. You're like, golden gun is gone. So you don't have that one shot that you can, go and have everybody love you. Now everybody actually kind of hates you. There's a lot of people who want to see that token and that company just do what, like, just fail because of how mad they are. And that's not good. And this isn't a team that's supposed to make those mistakes. I have some sympathy for them. I still like some of the guys on the team, but this was, by all accounts, just a failure. And what do you do from here? And if I'm them, I'm pretty scared of, like, what the road looks like in front of me.
Fair takes there. I do want to move on to the next topic in the next 5 minutes, so I'm going to work my way through these hands about a minute each. Let's knock out Dub, then we'll go to Knock.
Yeah, damn, I put my hands down. Quick, I agree with Koji. I hate to agree with Jerry. This whole thing is fucking stupid. Like, I want to see games with game economies and all that that's working and that I'm excited to dive into. I don't care about a TGE, and I still don't even know what Sonic is other than the Hedgehog.
Yeah, that's Trevor in the audience also is mentioning the copyright infringement and whether or not we think that Sonic is at legal risk. I don't think any of us can truly commentate on that. None of us are lawyers, etc. However, whenever I've talked to people, I actually was approached by somebody on the Sonic team a while back, and I said, "Well, do you have anything to do with Sega?" And they said, "No, absolutely nothing." And I was like, "Well, that seems like an issue, boys, but nobody seems to care. $2 billion valuation. That's where I'll leave it. Let's go over to Knock.
Man, did we not learn from about this time last year with all this fucking ridiculousness? We're talking about how certain coins opened at a specific valuation. We're not talking about how two of the three that were mentioned are down $500 million in FDV. The other one has been alive for 4 hours. It is way too early in the game to have like any sort of real like any sort of knowledge taken out from what we're seeing here. We're seeing two teams who have launched at ridiculous FDVs. We'll see whether or not they're able to back that up over the course of the next few months. So far, they're down $500 million apiece. The other one just launched. We don't know what that's going to operate. Two of these teams are only actually reporting somewhere between 10 and 12% of the total supply as circulating. The third isn't reporting how much is circulating at all. The top wallet or the top 10 wallets in all of these collections own upwards of 15% of an already small percent that is circulating. It's easy to game market cap when you have such a small number of people who are actually exposed to this particular thing. I think it's ridiculous. We have two games on the horizon that we've all been waiting for years that are about to launch in Power and in God, Infinigods and the Fableborn team, who have both demonstrated an ability to ship product, to generate revenue with the actual game, to drive downloads. That should be our barometer for whether or not there is going to be a gaming run or whether or not there's appetite for high quality games in this space, not something that we don't have any real information about. I don't think that any of these are a big deal.
None of them, says Knock. Wild Paul, do you agree?
I've done this before. I'm gonna do it again. I kind of want to build a bridge between these two
God damn
disparate
it, Paul.
opinions. I'm
God
sorry,
damn
but
it.
listen. We're talking about two sides of the same coin, and we're like using the same question to speak of us in two different ways. Look, on the one hand, the question I was asking is appetite coming back for this kind of opportunity? And I think the answer that I'm hearing generally is, yeah, actually, a lot of people are like, look, man, maybe this is the time that finally there's going to be a game that delivers on the promise of a multi-billion-dollar valuation, which, by the way, is just insane for a video game, period. Like, if we take off our Web3 hats for a second and be like, which video games are actually worth several $billion? Like, you're talking about League of Legends level shit, right? Minecraft level shit. Like, come on. But Age of Empires level shit, to toot my horn for a second. That happens once a year if you're lucky with the tens of thousands of games that release, right? And we're looking at individual games and being like, well, that one's maybe worth a couple billion, and that one, like, okay. And the reason that it's a two-sided coin is those are separate questions. One is the appetite back? And I think yeah, actually, I think there's a lot of money sitting right there on that sideline going, are we doing this again, boys? Is this the time that we're going to be right and there will be a Minecraft or an Age of Empires that emerges from this cycle? And then the other side of the coin is, the Jerrys and the Knox or whatever going like, can we please not even have that conversation until finally there is that game and we're all playing it and being like, yeah, okay, thank God, finally here's the game that's as good as any Web 2 game that's in Web 3. And yeah, that hasn't happened yet. But I just think it's important to separate those two questions out. Yes, the appetite is here. And yes, this could be another super bogus cycle where we don't get a game like that and then we're all sad again. But I actually think the thing we're not talking about is the in between, which is what are the odds that this is the cycle where we get an Age of Empires? And I would say the odds are obviously higher than they've ever been before. I can speak to my own team. We have a game that raised $46 million that we've been working on for 2 years since that raise and for 3 years before that. And you all saw I tweeted, this is the year we're shipping Wildcard. So, I mean, and I think that we're just one of several teams that are on the verge of actually finally shipping a thing that's been worked on for 5+ years with significant budgets. That wasn't true last cycle. So yeah, you had the Axes that popped off and disappeared and now are, still building because they made so much money at that time. But I think the thing we're not saying is there's a good chance that this cycle is the one that we finally get one of those truly great games out of. And that's really exciting.
Yo, but if on Sam's list was Wildcard is coming out this year, then I would have picked that one. But it wasn't on the list. It was these three bogus things that
I
I don't
know
care
that
about.
that's why those things just paint a picture that like the appetite is there. But if that delivery doesn't happen for a wild card or something like that happening, then as we know, the appetite will eventually sour. And so it's just this like race now that we're running where it's like clearly the appetite is beginning to show up. Will one of those games emerge and actually post real numbers of players and revenue before the appetite dries up and the meta rotates to something else? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but the odds are higher this time because there are some really great things like Fableborn waiting in the wings.
If Paul gives me a firm date that Wildcard will be launched,
You
I'll make it
wish.
7 topics. I'll make it every topic on an entire 2-hour
Hey,
episode of Gamified.
I'll do you a favor. I will promise that we will announce that date on Gamified before anyone else. Oh shit,
Let's
I'm in
go.
trouble with Katie now, but yeah, I'll do that.
All right, we're a little bit over time on this topic. I'm going to send it to Sinjin, then Jerry, then Matthew Buxton's getting the last word. No exceptions.
Yeah, I didn't want to be a Debbie Downer in the new year, but I'll give you what a big deal is for gaming, though. The Hyperliquid listings, I think that's a big deal. I think that is showing that there is definitely appetite in the space for gaming coins that are willing to do that, like Mon and God, had purchased, and they've gotten a real kick from that. But I want to just say on the other side with Xterio, I don't want to say too much because I consider
Sinjin,
myself
real
a
quick,
friend with, yeah.
before you move on, like what specifically are you pointing to on the Hyperliquid side that is, or on the Mon side that is the thing that makes you feel that way?
Just the interest in the sense that they went for the auction and it's not cheap. I mean, Mon had gone it a little bit earlier, and then what do you call it? God, Infinite Gods had followed through a little bit after that. But from what I've been hearing is that once you get that listing and you actually do choose to list when you decide, that the volumes there are pretty good, like definitely, for sure. And that the general sentiment in crypto trading for day traders that are really serious is that Web3 gaming is still off the market, right? It's just not something that people are really interested in. And if you don't have that crypto trading sentiment, you're just not going to get the volume. And, that brings me to my point with Xterio and stuff like that. I hate to say it, but like in certain views, like they may have felt like they were being extracted and now they become the extractor because they had to choose or they wanted to choose, between Web3 gamers or crypto day traders, right? I don't mean to say that in justifying their position or whatever like that, but that might be just the brutal truth of it all. But Hyperliquid, I mean, I think that's a big deal. And I think that shows a good sentiment for Web3 gaming that those people who are really in the trenches are there, absolutely. And they are waiting for a game like Fableborn, like Infinite Gods, Wild Card and stuff like that. So I'm very hopeful for 2025.
Man, Dub tweeted, game over for my productivity. He's currently buying Balatro plus Slay the Spire in a bundle on Steam. Dub, I will see you in 2026, brother, because holy shit, there goes your life. Let's go to Jerry, then to Matthew Buxton.
Yeah, I'm a little.
So I just got to jump in here for 1 second, one comment. Guys, don't worry. We'll be releasing our early access this year. We'll have the game that everyone is waiting for. I just have to say that.
Let's go. The Wilder World, open world, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Um, I am a little surprised that we're all up here saying that like these token launches aren't a big deal, because for all of these projects that have put tokens out now, that is their flagship project. Now, right? The games aren't out yet, so you put the token out, and all you have is, your Web3 assets. And when you aren't doing that right, and people are asking questions about the execution of that, why should they think that the other things are going to be done right? So I think it's a bigger deal because I think it's showing what they're doing when they put something out and it's not going to plan or it's falling apart, is they're showing that the execution's not there. And I think that has to raise a lot of red flags for people. I think we can't sit up here and say that, people token launching and seeing them, be universally panned is not that big of a deal, because I think it's a pretty huge deal, because it tells you a lot about what that team can do and what they're capable of, and sometimes it's good, and in this case it's not so great.
Matthew Buxton, over to you, brother.
Oh, good. I have a slight counterpoint to this, that money is the best moat. Memories here are painfully short, and this will just disappear under another sort of wave of alpha or another controversy. Someone else will do something. Everyone is really looking for the games to come out and make genuine revenue. But the main thing is, if they secured enough of a bag to actually execute. And this is the issue, because the funding has really dried up. I mean, I've seen graphs showing that year on year since 2022, gaming funding has gone down and down only. And as we all talked about before, listing prices are going up. It's extortion. To get any kind of volume, even if you're going down like 10, 20, 30, 50%, most of these tokens like went down 90%. I think Alluvium went down like 95% from where it was at one point. And it's really about, can you continue? Like, the game is not over until someone turns the lights out, right? Yes, they may be poor at executing this, but no game has nailed it. I mean, we don't have any of that, like Capybara Run, a game that should have taken maybe a year to build. We have had 2, 3, 4 years, and we are not making any games that are making 500K a day, a million a day in Web 2. And that is going to change. And that's going to change this year. And the ones that are making it now, they raised in 21 and they had to learn a lot of painful truths. The ones that are raising now, they will have to also learn some painful truths, but at least they have the money to continue, because it's not coming in externally. And if there's appetite, that's always good.
Let's go to Hantow for one quick word, and then we're going to move on.
So I think tokens are actually a interesting instrument. Like before, everybody was talking how if you do launch a token, it's almost like a separate product, right? But what we're seeing now, especially on Solana, is that people are actually utilizing tokens as a vehicle to enhance and accelerate their products. Like most of the top AI projects on Solana, like Graphane, um, and Arc, were started from a pump fund, and a lot of like even like Pippin, that's going up right now, that AI XPT just tweeted about. They're all started from pump funds, so you can use tokens in a positive way to acquire mindshare from the community.
That's definitely true. I mean, it goes back to the whole fully diluted value, high float, low float debate, but that's for another day. What's the word? Notch, the creator of Minecraft, runs a poll on Twitter asking which game he should be focusing on building. He's working on a roguelike that he says he's passionate about, but asks if people would rather that he makes a spiritual successor to Minecraft. And if he did, he'd be happy to take the cash. 81%, unsurprisingly, vote for Minecraft 2, 19% voting for his passion project. What's the word for that result? And should the Minecraft billionaire take more money to work on a product he's not excited about, or stick to his passion product? Let's send it over to Koji, who I know is going to be spicy on this one.
Oh, not that spicy, man. The word is like, I mean, first the word is expected. Obviously, that's going to be the result. most of the people are there for Minecraft, so they just want more Minecraft. But like, I don't know how much more iterative you can get on that. There's already a bunch of shit that's like iterated on it, and I honestly think that you'd probably go absolutely fucking insane, having done it for so long. I think that like what he should do is just stick to his guns, like especially in a position like that. Obviously, I'm not gonna like measure his bank account because I have no idea what his life is like, but I'm gonna assume that he has enough money to do whatever he wants. So why doesn't he just do whatever he wants? Like, uh, you know, as a game creator, and I hope no one takes this the wrong way, but like, fuck what those guys want. Just like make what you care about, right? Because like trying to make what somebody wants is you're just gonna like end up with dog shit, in my opinion. Like you got to really care about this thing because anyone who's listening who doesn't make games needs to know that like it's fucking brutal. You know, I have a great time creating this stuff, but like doing it is fucking brutal. And if you didn't love it, I don't know why you would do this. Like, there's so many other jobs you could do that would pay you and whatever, and you don't have to put up with this fucking nonsense. So like, you should probably care about it. So I suspect that he should just make um, the game that he wants.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I can't really see from his perspective why he would feel inclined to do this if he really does have $1 billion. Let's go over to Will Spangler, see if he agrees.
I mean, yeah, I think that that's obviously, you know, make what you want and what you're gonna love. But I think, you know, I'm actually reading the post right now, and the way it sounds like is you know, he wants to make other people happy. He wants to give other people what they want, and that was a genuine point of questioning from him. So I can't really knock him for wanting to make a Minecraft too, if that's what he's searching for. He's looking to make people happy, which is new from Notch. At least if you check his feeds from the past. But yeah, I think you know it's an interesting position, especially with, you know, a spiritual successor to Minecraft too. Like, what does that look like? Does that look it like in being a spiritual successor? I'm not expecting a Minecraft 2 per se, but another like something as revolutionary as Minecraft, because that's what made Minecraft what it was its simplicity and was how it completely changed you know, how people thought of games. So that's what I'm expecting from a Minecraft too. I'm expecting something that takes apart what we see traditionally as games back down to the building blocks. And personally, if he does end up making it, I'm really excited for what that's going to be because he's got a great eye for that kind of thing.
Great stuff, Spang. Let's go over to Wild Paul.
I followed along with Notch, his work, the Microsoft acquisition, everything very closely because I think I was at Microsoft when it happened, and then we worked on a game that is a Minecraft game for Steam called Creativerse that did really well for a while, and like so, been really close to all this. And I will say that the Notch I know, there is no world in which he could be happy if it actually is called Minecraft 2 and if he's held to that standard. In fact, I have a very spicy take on this because I was fighting a battle at Zynga when they had bought Words with Friends and wanted to make Words with Friends too. And I was like, listen, assholes, you're going to go through the whole like Coke, new Coke, Coke 2 thing again. Like, this is not the kind of brand you do that with. You're only going to end up with a fragmented audience that is like confused about which one they're supposed to play. And of course, that's exactly what happened. I can't even picture a world in which there is a Minecraft 2 and a Minecraft 1 and users or customers know how to even deal with that. It's not that kind of game. Minecraft is a forever brand, a forever franchise. Like it's like Lego or something. You don't make Lego 2, like you just keep building out Lego and leave it as that thing. And also the Notch I know, exactly like was just said, is brilliant at identifying crazy, wild, bold, new ideas that start off as small indie things without these huge expectations. And maybe they work, maybe they don't, but they're experimental and brilliant and clever. And like, you know, it just reminds me of like somebody like Coppola as a filmmaker. Like, let's please let Notch go do that. That's what he's actually going to be happy. And actually, that's what's going to make the audience more happy because they might think they want Minecraft too, but they don't. And so please. And we also sit on this panel talking about how we want bold, innovative new games and not endless regurgitated sequels. So if anyone who wants actual Minecraft 2, I'll fight you.
Yeah, hard agree for me on that one too. I wasn't sure if it was just because I'm a brainless non-game developer, but I can't picture it at all. It makes no sense to me. And how are you going to be able to create something that Microsoft, pouring billions of dollars into this live service product over the last few years, isn't able to make? And then you have Roblox that's stolen a lot of those elements and iterated on it as well. Koji, I saw you on mute. I'll send it over to you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, tell that to the geniuses behind Counter Strike too, man. Uh,
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. But Counter Strike,
Or
yes, it
Overwatch
can
2.
happen. It can happen. I don't see it for Minecraft because it's such a huge, rich world. In Counter Strike, it's more about a set of mechanics you play over and over and over again. And so, in that case, it makes more sense to me. But sorry, I'll shut up.
Did Knox say or Overwatch 2, or did I mishear?
I did, and then we got Marvel Rivals, which is really just Overwatch 2 too.
Overwatch reskinned. Let's go over to Tony from the Wanderers account.
Yeah, I think the idea. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I think the idea of Notch making another Minecraft is like probably like the best example.
I'm sorry, Tony. I lied. We cannot hear you well. You're breaking up a little
Can you
bit.
hear me?
I'm going to double back on you.
Can you hear
Maybe
me now?
disconnect the headphones or something. Let's go over to Matthew Buxton. Then we'll tag in Sinjin.
I think the word is justification. I think he wants to dump that roguelike project because it is hard to make roguelikes. It's a saturated space. The roguelikes have been done in every single way. I think he wants a tech challenge. I think he wants to bite off something new, big, and flashy and go for that. I think he's just looking for this kind of impetus from the external source to get him motivated to do this. It's like one of those comic book writers who writes Hunter x Hunter like once every 6 years. He may draw a page, but who knows what's coming out? He says spiritual successor, which in my mind is something creative, is something. I mean, we talk about like you're not going to make a Lego 2, but there is Lego Technic, which was basically plastic Meccano. There can be something that is not necessarily a Minecraft 2, but it's going to be something creative, something where people can go. It may go in any direction. It may go geekier. It may be more propeller head. It may be easier to use. It may involve AI. Who knows? But the guy definitely needs justification to drop from that project.
That's the first good explanation I've heard of why the hell he would want to do this with how much money he has. Let's go over to Sinjin. Then we'll try Tony again.
Yeah, I completely agree with Matt. That was exactly going to be my point as well. I mean, he did say spiritual successor, and I think Minecraft has been around for a long time. It's profitable, and it continues to be profitable. But you look at Roblox. Yeah, everyone says it's a great success, but they haven't been profitable ever. And when will they ever be profitable? And so, like, what he may be seeing, obviously, is not going to be just like a clone or like upgraded, Minecraft. And my son plays this still religiously with his friends, and he's 13 years old, and he's been playing since like he was 5 years old. I'm excited. That's the word. I want to see him take on that challenge, and even if he's a billionaire, the tech specs and now are a lot different. The expectations are so. It'll be interesting to see if he does an Elon Musk and no longer becomes a billionaire in the process of trying to get this out, and we can check it out 3 to 4 or 5 years later.
Sending it to Tony, then to Knock.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, it's better.
Oh, thank you. My word was thirsty. Um, I also interacted with Notch in the time period that um, uh, Paul is talking about, and my few interactions with him were genius, clearly a genius, but like felt like there was a lot of ego, probably rightfully so. There he created like a new, completely new dynamic and thing. But I view the like his solicitation of what I should build next is more of like a Don King moment for him, right? Like it doesn't really matter what the answer is. This is him standing in the middle of the arena with his arms in the air, yelling, "Are you not entertained?" And I'm here for it, but it's definitely real thirsty. I think it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Well said, Tony. Let's go to Jerry. Then Knock gets the last word.
My word is passion. And when I look at creatives and people who are like geniuses on that level, I think you have to let them work on things that they're passionate about and things that they care about. I don't think he cares as much. I mean, listen, look at the tweet, right? He says, "I wouldn't mind that cash." He doesn't say, I want to build this for the love of the game. He doesn't say, I want to build this because this is what I fucking dream about. He wants more money, right? And if you got that much money, dude, go to Turkey and get a fucking hair surgery, man. But like, I look at spiritual successors as like this kind of weird thing. It's not a Minecraft 2, but it's a spiritual successor. And my mind goes to Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact, and like, you know how much money Honkai Star Rail makes? It's like the exact amount that Genshin doesn't make once Honkai Star Rail came out. Right, it's the same audience, it's the same people playing the game, and it just cannibalizes one another. And I think what would excite you about that if you're him? You know, maybe the money, maybe there's a lot of money in it, but like, you know, guys like this, like, you know, if Paul gave the gamers what they wanted, he'd be working on Age of Empires 17 right now, and he'd be fucking sitting at a in a dark basement smoking cigarettes indoors right now because he hates himself. Right? You got to let these guys do what like the
Wait,
things
both
that
those
excite
things
them.
can't be true. But oh, sorry.
Paul might be sitting in a basement right now smoking cigarettes indoors, but
I wish.
yeah. So you got to let these guys just do what they want and do what they're passionate about, because like Koji says, he comes up and says this every week in a very pessimistic way, but people don't know what they want until it's in their hands, and then they love it. So I don't think people necessarily want a Minecraft 2. Is anybody out here who plays Minecraft asking for a spiritual successor to Minecraft, or do they want to just play Minecraft? So, you know, there could be a lot of time and effort and money that goes into something that people aren't really asking for. But, you know, when he described the roguelike he's building, I'm pretty intrigued by that. And I'm intrigued by a passionate creative, you know, not being handcuffed by something he's done before and trying to live up to that, but just creating something new and trying to innovate. You know, in an industry right now, the games industry needs some new and needs new, exciting, like genre bending shit to come out to not feel stale. And it sounds like he's trying to do that.
They
Um,
weren't asking for it until the poll came out, and then they were asking for it real hard. Paul
Fair,
was like,
fair point.
just real quick, since you invoked my name, like I was kind of sad to see this. I wish I was a little bit closer to Notch because I'd reach out to him as a friend and be like, dude, I get it, man. It's been a while now since you were at the top of the heap and you were the known creator of Minecraft and everybody was, and Minecraft has clearly set sail now under Microsoft and they've done a great job and that's not so much you anymore. And like, I get what he's feeling, but like the answer isn't like start evoking the name Minecraft again and talk about a spiritual successor. Like you already have that. You can be that. Be willing to do those more experimental things. Be willing to have it not be the next Minecraft because it's something you love. Like that would be all my advice to him
But
because
he
I know
did,
what he's
Paul.
feeling.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I never do this. I never unmute. But he did, Paul. That's what I'm saying. He did.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
and
I know.
Microsoft, and I was at Amazon. He started talking about that stupid fucking space game. He
I
showed you like
know.
two
I
things,
know.
and he got dragged for it. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I say thirsty, right? Like he's like he tried it once doing the thing that Paul said. And now he's like, I'm gonna make sure that everyone is fucking psyched about it. Doesn't matter what it is, they're gonna be psyched about it.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm very sympathetic to it. I think you're completely right. And by the way, I love that you jumped in because like this is a really interesting, especially for the folks who have been following and been connected to Notch over the years. Like I just really feel for him. It's a nearly impossible situation he's in right now, and I get that what he wants. And I think when he says money, I don't really think it's that. I just think he wants the feeling that he got from being in that situation before. That's my guess. I don't know.
dude, I know exactly what you're talking about, Paul, because I would murder a kitten every single day if I could just feel what it feels like to be Yellow Panther right now. You know, if I could just live in his sweatsuit and knock over to you, buddy.
I feel like I'm missing wildly important context, so I'm just gonna ignore that last bit. Um, what I will say, as the puppy goes nuts, what I will say is I think that there's a common theme of like, I think this pertains to Web3, especially with a lot of stuff that's going on. We should ask a question, which is, who's asking for this stuff? Like, who wants Minecraft 2? Like, I think the whole post doesn't actually give us any fucking information, right? It's should we build a spiritual successor to Minecraft 2, which we've got a panelist, a group of 12 of us up here who literally work in games all day long, every single day. The collective experience in the space is fucking ridiculous. And we're debating what that even means versus a roguelike game that is not described. You're asking people to pick between two things that don't fucking exist and have no context into what those two things will be. Of course, it's a thirsty thing. I'm 100% agreed with Tony. I think ultimately, when somebody shows you who they are, time and time again. That's who they are. Listen to them. Notch historically, yes, has created incredible products, but has always had an eagle, has always wanted to be in the spotlight, has always been somebody, to his own admission on social, who wants people to pay attention to the things that he's doing. And saying something like, should I build a spiritual successor to Minecraft 2? And finishing that sentence with, I could use the cash, as a man whose net worth is $1.2 billion, screams, pay attention to me. Nobody's paying attention to me. I don't care. Build a game or shut up. The last person who knows what gamers want are the fucking gamers who play that game. Every gamer who's ever said, I want this thing in a game, has gotten that thing in the game and then said, maybe I didn't want that thing in the game, or maybe I didn't understand what that would do to the game. Don't fucking listen to people. Build a game, build a thing that makes sense to you. He's a genius when he's building things that excite him. Get excited about something, build it. Shut up.
OMG and LOL, because that's exactly how I read the tweet. Is basically what through my mind was, this is a cry for help.
It's a cry for help. Let's go to Nick Greenwald from the Wanderers coming up, and then I'll send it to Koji real quick before we move on.
What's good? Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't think that any of us could possibly understand what happens to your brain once you have $1 million. Really, I would say probably any amount of money more than I currently have probably makes you delusional in some sort of way that is like, it's like us trying to comprehend, like a four-dimensional being who just sees time as another dimension that they can interact with, right? Like it's almost futile to even comprehend. So like his reason for asking if he should make Minecraft 2 with spheres, I'm assuming. I didn't read the post. I'm assuming that it's all going to be spheres, but like that the core reason of why that happening could be so far beyond us, like he's run out of adrenochrome or whatever it may be, that it's like you'll flock to all these things like, oh, he was weird when he worked at Microsoft or that kind of thing. But I just feel like, it's the same reason why does Elon Musk pretend like he plays a lot of Diablo. It's like these kind of you just can't, it's beyond just weird. It's you just couldn't even comprehend it, and it will it will drain you and hurt you to try to understand it.
Just slipping slower and slower into madness as we try to dissect why Notch is the way that he is. Koji gets the last word, then we're moving on.
Yeah, Knock, I don't want to sweep the leg out from under you, but a couple things. One, the irony of you telling him to shut up because he's screaming, pay attention to me, and then participating in Web3 and all of that bullshit is like the funniest thing in the world to me, because it, nowhere else in the entire industry of whatever you want, finance or gaming or whatever, are there more people screaming, pay attention to me? All you have to do is just line us all up and look at the fucking bullshit that we wear when we leave our house, and you know that we're all like a fucking attention seeking horse. The other thing is, Sam's joke was amazing. I don't know, maybe you were in a coma at that point, but he was referring to the fact that
Jesus Christ.
he didn't win creator of their KOL or whatever of the year this year, but Yellow Panther did, and he
Hey,
would give anything to have that feeling back again. I know jokes are the funniest when you explain them, so there you
Hey,
go.
hey, Koji. I'll speak for
See, fun
Knock.
fact, I was in fact in a coma, and that helps. That's helpful context. That's a good
Yeah.
joke, Sam. Good
Also, Koji,
job.
shut up.
What?
The panel,
I mean,
week one,
to,
we're
to,
knocking the rust off
to,
collectively.
to
Okay.
be fair, I knew that Knock was in a coma. If that helps make it any funnier or less funny.
Depends where you are in the southern hemisphere. Let's go. But Wild Paul's the hand up. Quick take, and then we're moving
Okay,
on.
quick take is just, I want to just bring us back to empathy. I just have a particular perspective on this because it came out of Age of Empires and I thought, well, that's it. I will never be able to get that again. That was the absolute pinnacle of creating something that people love so universally. And then I created Words with Friends, and not only was that 10 times more people and recognition and everything else, but it was also an ultra wealthy thing. We sold that to Zynga for a couple hundred million and then IPO'd for 10 billion. So I've been through a lot of these different cycles. And I just wanted y'all to know that, like, I sympathize with Notch because there is no amount of money that, if you're the type of person that what you truly love in the world, and I can't say this for sure for Notch, but I think he's kind of this, that literally a major source of your own personal happiness is the moment when you watch someone enjoy something that you built with a team. There is no amount of money that can deliver that same feeling, and the only way to achieve it is by continuing. And I just wish I would wish for Notch that he would know that he would be self-reflective, that he would feel that, and they'd be like, okay, but it's not about promising Minecraft 2 and trying to artificially. It's just about the hard work of trying to get to that place again where people love something you made. You can't fake it. You can't buy your way there. You can't Twitter poll your way there. You just have to ship things that people love, and you just have to be terrified that the next thing you ship isn't going to be as loved as the last thing you shipped, and still go after it because there's nothing like that feeling. And I just think that's the reality, and that's why I said I feel a little bad for him, because I know what he wants, and it's the hardest thing in the world to get. And I wish him well and bless him in that endeavor.
Man, incredible to get the perspective from across the board, but also from somebody like Wild Paul's been through those experiences. Appreciate you, and yeah, I can at least empathize with wanting something like that. Chasing the dragon, I think, is the term people give it. Well, we're midway through our magnificent mission here on Gamified, so let's maneuver to thank our mates over at Avalanche. They're the Sub-Zero superheroes, ensuring our digital deeds are as smooth and safe as a snowboarder on fresh powder in a suit of armor. Whether you're dodging bullets in the firefights of Off the Grid or scaling magical peaks of MapleStory, Avalanche is the summit where Web3 gaming truly shines. Thank you for being our official chain of gamified. And up next is Game 7 Nation, a gaming haven where players have the power. Did you know they've got 175,000 monthly active Mavericks making moves on the Game 7 portal? Plus, they've got 400,000 citizen avatars on chain and have given away over $1 million already. With Hyperplay as your highway to hassle-free game discovery experience, and World Builder whipping your world into wealth generation wonderland, Game 7 is the real MVP. And don't forget their ginormous, groundbreaking MetaMask partnership, opening the gates to 30 million global gamers. Thank you to the official infrastructure of Gamified. It's Game 7. And of course, gamers, stash the snacks and turn up the volume, because Star Atlas released another host of pure cinema with gameplay videos showing off ships, cities, skylines, and shooters. They're already over 3% of Solana's daily transaction volume, with so many more ways to engage coming up in 2025. Thank you to Star Atlas, the official game of Gamified, setting the standard for space age excellence and proving that in this universe, the players will rule the day. We're moving on to our predictions in the second half of 2025, or the second half of this show and the beginning of 2025. My question number one, if anybody's a fan of the All In podcast, copying a little bit of their format, I thought they did a really good job. Question number one is, who's going to be the biggest winner of 2025? It could be something specific, like you could say Wanderers, Infinigods, Game 7, Avalanche, Star Atlas, just to name a few, or could be more vague, games with heavy AI integration, mobile games in Web3. It could be games that don't launch tokens, could be games that did launch tokens. Zero hands. I'm going to keep giving examples until somebody fucking, thank you. Tony, over to you.
Yeah, sorry. I think I'm going to go broad and then specific. Broadly, like I was saying earlier, I think that people that have products that are playable and in market, and people that are closest to having customers or have customers that are spending money, are going to be the big winners this cycle. I think that uh, that very specifically, some of those people are on this stage right now. I mean, I hate to gas them up anymore, but Koji's been winning for the 2.5 years that I've been on this stage, and I don't expect that he's going to stop winning. The parallel team is unparalleled. They're continuing to ship innovative stuff that is people are going to enjoy and want to spend money on. And so I think that's going to continue to be the case. If Paul ships Wildcard, which I think is a coin
No,
flip,
if what are you even saying? How dare
yeah,
you?
then I think that it'll be one of those big winners. It's addictive. I've played a bunch of it, and I think it's really good. Similarly, if Chandler ships Sparkball, I think it has the chance to be the next League of Legends. Nick and the Wanderers team have been in the trenches for quite a while, grinding and digging, and I think that level of resilience is going to. This is the year that level of resilience is going to pay off. I think Nick might be like the only NFT project that sold a bunch of DGens NFTs and then made a video game. So I'm bullish on the people with products. I'm like not super bullish on the people without products. And sorry, Wilder World, they're up here, and Zen and I are he's my journeyman friend. And again, I'm not sure if you guys are shipping this year. I think you said you are, and if you are, I think you guys are going to be huge winners.
Great segue. Zen, who's your biggest winner in 2025? Who do you think?
I'd like to say, like, to stay a step back for, everything that we discussed before as well. Is, remembering why most of us are here and really believing in the core ethos of Web3, the blockchain technology, and what it will bring to gaming overall. All the aspects. So I think if we talk about who'll be the biggest winner, like my prediction is that the mainstream or the traditional gaming audience will finally fully catch up to that, will fully understand and acknowledge the superiority of this technology. So in that case, people will be very interested and very eager to explore newer titles from this new space. In this case, Web3. So I think all of us here that have been in the trenches for years and years will have a great time and just have a lot of told you so moments to the normies and everywhere left and right. And as part of that, I also think a big winner is something we haven't spoken about will be some of these bigger platforms that we have that are traditionally Web 2, whether this might be like Epic Games or might be Steam or maybe one of the bigger game studio that actually will jump on that bandwagon as well, which that might just be the catalyst that we need as well to really get these hundreds of millions of eyeballs of traditional gamers into this space. So and I'd like to take this also, what Koji mentioned before, building a high quality game is so unbelievably hard. And many people here also up on stage that have been doing this for years and even decades in some cases I think it'll finally pay off with all the hate that we're all getting constantly and the doubts and not only having to manage building a game, but also the whole blockchain side of things and the whole token side of things. So we really create solving problems here that haven't been solved before. And I'd like to just, have this broad prediction that all of us here will have our time where we just sit back with a big smile of our faces and all this work, will come to fruition. So with that also, words of motivation to everyone here. I know everyone is fired up, but let's keep on building. Let's do it. Let's ship. Let's show them that, we're early. We know what this technology can bring to the gaming space, to entertainment as a whole. So I'd like to say all of us will be come out on top at the end.
I'm going to relish this opportunity to force Koji to be optimistic about something in his life. Koji, your biggest winner of 2025. What's your prediction, brother?
Well, I mean, I want to start off by saying I think the biggest winners are definitely going to be the people on the stage. There's so many people that are here that I like truly believe in what they're doing. The Wilder World guys, I think like they don't get enough love. I've been a fan of them since I met them the first time, and I think that like it's going to be great. But I'm going to do something that I never do, and I'm going to say the biggest winner is going to be Wayfinder, which is something that we're building. And I'm not just plugging our shit. Uh, I noticed even just based on the first topic of this spaces that like we're assholes and we love our tokens. We love to like spend money on bullshit and like speculate and trade and whatever. And a tool that can make that easier for people and bring more people into it is gonna be huge. I have actually no hand in building it. I'm literally only working on the game. So like every time I see some of the shit that it does, I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be crazy. So like I'm betting the farm on it. I think that it's going to be fucking massive. And that's not again. I don't want to self plug, but like I think the guys who are actually building that, who aren't me, uh, deserve a lot of love. Like Adrian, shout out to Adrian for being a fucking genius. So yeah, I don't know. I think that like uh, echo some of the statement. Crypto as a whole definitely going to be a big year. Trump is elected, crime is legal, so make it rain tokens or whatever. And then the people on this stage for sure, and then yeah, all the other stuff that I said. Thanks.
Let's go to Ronan from Game 7. Ronan, who you think is going to be the biggest winner in 2025?
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid what other people said. I think everybody here on our panel and also the listeners, if you're here, you're going to win this year. I think it takes obviously more than one team to win big. So all of us actually win together. And I think that's something that we all need to kind of keep in mind, that we are still a niche. We're trying to prove ourselves. So any help to other people in other teams, other games, other platforms, we should actually try to figure out together, because I think we're trying to prove something bigger than what we can all do by ourselves. And then I think that some of the games that I think might be big winners is those that actually build really depth economies, which I think that's kind of the big piece that Web3 could bring to gaming, where I see a lot of teams innovating on it. And like Pixels, I think we want to talk about it, but we skipped it. But I think like having real in-game economy that's robust, that's something that I'm really looking forward to play games that are fun and that it has like real depth economy.
Yeah, the Pixels topic is super interesting. Had to pick between that one and Notch. Notch was up in the queue, but I do want to talk about it next week. Pixels seems to be making strides on making play to earn actually sustainable, which is really, really awesome to see. Let's go over to Will Spangler, get his take on the prediction for 2025. Who's your biggest winner? Then we'll go to Nick Greenwald.
Yeah, so my prediction for the big game that's going to come through in 2025 is going to be Maple Story, and that's biased now that I'm working at Avalanche. But in the week in the week of the Avalanche Summit, when I wasn't, I had developed this take, so it was baked unbiased. Um, but the reason I think that Maple Story is going to be so huge, and obviously, like the people on this panel are building such amazing games, and I think that they're all going to be massive winners. Why I'm excited about Maple Story specifically is because of what we saw with the Pokemon packs and the digital Pokemon packs, and that all you need is IP and smooth UX. And if you can get that down, people will play anything. People and will sink money into these projects. And I think that Maple Story has that. It has that base ground of people who love the game and will come back and will engage with the economy. And it has the work that's been put into it over the last sort of 3 years, building out this economy into this gameplay loop that's already been refined and already been built up. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a bunch of people coming in from Web 2 playing this Web 3 game, and that's going to be real onboarding, proper Web 2 to Web 3. What are the other games where I can scratch this Web 3 itch that I've developed playing Maple Story? And that is as Ronan sort of alluded to, that rising tide that brings up all the boats. And so that's why I'm excited about Maple Story.
Maple Story seems to be one of those that at any given time, just like off the grid, kind of came out of nowhere, took us by storm. I'm sort of waiting for Maple Story to just say it's time to go and see what ripple effect that creates. Let's go over to Nick Greenwald from Wanderers. Who's going to be your biggest winner of 2025, brother?
I think it's gonna be people who can like fucking relax, right? So like I'm just gonna use okay, we're talking about Wayfinder a second ago, right? Like clearly miles ahead the most superior products, right? And it's probably so frustrating for them to see, people getting like incredibly hype, creaming their jeans over a cartoon character with a chat GPT wrapper prompt on it, like that nobody wants to fucking watch. Who wants to watch a cartoon character talk about a Twitch stream? Like whatever. But so my point is we've been doing this for 4 years now at this point, maybe, and every 2 weeks the narrative changes. Play to airdrop is in, play to airdrop is dead. Now it's pay to play to airdrop. Now it's this. Now it's now we don't like airdrops. We just want NFTs. Wait, now we want NFTs that are pre-sales for airdrops, and like it goes on and on and on. And like now we're in this. I guess earlier we're pretending like we don't like airdrops on this stage, which for some reason, like my point is that the people who have the vision and can actually understand what people want, which is tokens and money, and to have fun doing it, are going to be, they're not gonna blow up overnight like a chat gpt wrapper, but they're also not going to fade away overnight the next day like a chat gpt wrapper. So I don't know if any of that made any fucking sense at all, but people who are actually able to see the long-term picture with clarity and willing to take risks to get there. Now, like Koji said, now that crime is legal, we're all allowed to kind of get a little more risky again. I think that's going to be the clear winners. It's a broad spectrum, but to me, it's obvious who's doing that.
Great take and hilarious delivery as usual, Nick. Let's go over to Sinjin next. Sinjin, who's your winner in 2025? What are you predicting?
I'm predicting that finally this is going to be the year of the massive nerds. The massive nerds are really going to win. And what I mean by that is the guys who are actually building a product that solves something in Web 2, that like Web 3 actually is not for the sake of just Web 3. It actually solves something. So Maple Story, they're solving economic issues that have been known for years, right? That's why they're able to go in depth. And they don't give a fuck about whatever's happening on this panel or in Web3. They have their user base that is yearning for this. Wildcard, Paul, like He's solving, in-game viewer participation. In fact, he fucking pivoted and made an entire fucking platform for it. And I'm sure, they had a lot of sleepless nights over it, but it had to be done. Gabe Leiden, he's actually solving Web3 tooling for allowing Rails for setting up an open game economy that, like people don't understand. Like, it's fucking tough. This is like the fucking post PhD of game design, you know? And of course, Meiji. I don't normally plug us, but we're gonna launch this motherfucking year and we're gonna take over all of Asia and everyone's gonna have a fucking angry Yakuza girlfriend, man.
Let's go. You love to hear it. Yeah, big shout out to Gabe Layden, what they put out. Excited to see what comes of that. I'm not smart enough to comprehend half of it, but I did my best to put together a thread that maybe implied some real world use cases. Let's go to Matthew Buxton. What's your winner for 2025? What's your prediction?
So
Oh, I heard you for a second, then you cut out.
it's the insta mute thing that happens
There we go.
sometimes. But I think content creators and people who are actually dead in the trenches and are actually taking advantage of all these GPT rappers, they're going to win big. They're going to win big early on. And I do think that later in the year, as the narrative changes, maybe as we find out whether we're in for another super cycle or we're in for something a little bit more terrifying, I think the ones that are actually going to win is games that are backed by publishers, potentially Web2 publishers, Web3 publishers, people who can actually solve the UA problem and solve the economy problem. I'm with everyone. Real products, people on the stage are building fantastic things. These real products that actually make money in Web2 are coming, and they are coming, and they are going to be able to absolutely dominate the timelines. And any of them who are just fighting for survival and chasing metas, they're going to fade away. The only way they're going to get saved is if someone swoops in with a lot of help and a lot of money and pushes these things.
Jerry, who's your winner in 2025?
Though I think it's going to be the games that are like genre bending, right? The games that are so unique that people have to give them a shot. I think, obviously my mind goes to Wild Card. Obviously, I didn't bring this up to glaze Paul any more than all of us already do. But I think, the games that have this really undeniable, unique gameplay element are going to be the games that just are that you can't ignore them. They're going to be so good that you can't ignore them. And I think those games are going to perform so well, and they're going to be the first ones to really meaningfully break through in Web3. That you're gonna see just this outsized multiplier, like kind of what Paul was talking about, being like a first mobile game developer. You're gonna see this outsized multiplier for games that are like that. So I think the games like Wildcard, the Parallels, really the people that we talk to every week, which is why most of us come back. Um, and then I think beyond that, I think we're in a unique place that, like what Matt was saying, the people that are in the trenches can also win. And I think a lot of times in this space, we look at like builders or we look at people on teams who have these like token unlocks that as like the people who are like those are gonna be the people that can like change their lives through this. But like I think the proof's in the pudding that if you're somebody who's just here every day and you show up and you're just like an individual person, you can really change the outlook of like your professional life or your family's lives or whatever. So I think we're in this really cool time in Web3 where everybody can win. You just need to be in the trenches. You need to be committed to doing this and showing up every day, and you need to like commit to trying to add value to the people around you. I think Sam, you're a really good example of this, and I think like in real time we're seeing like ICO beast to do this, right? So everybody can do that, and everybody can have their own version of that. Um, so you don't just have to be up here and like we always kind of talk about how great this panel is and how great the people up on the stage are, but like the people that are listening, like you're those people in the trenches too, and I think those people can really win and have these like outsized returns this cycle because you've been paying attention, you've been in the right places, you need to fucking act on it, man.
Time in the market beats timing the market, something I hear on a weekly basis. Let's go to Knock and then I'll go to Wild Paul.
Are we doing losers as well, Sam?
Yeah,
After,
losers is
just to
coming
make
up
sure.
right after this.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll give you my set of winners here because I really want to dive into the losers, but I'll give you a set of winners. I think this applies very broadly, but I think that there's a couple of key traits of people who are going to win in the 2025 calendar year. And first and foremost, it's people who put ego aside. Things aren't they're not supposed to be a certain way. Things don't ought to be a certain way. I think what we've seen too often in this space is traditional founders come into the space. They expect things to work the same way they did in their previous industries. They spend years screaming at fucking nobody, expecting people to change rather than adapting to the ecosystem. And we've seen this time and time
Wait, are
again.
you sure you're not
It
talking
just
about
does
the?
not
You said
work.
you weren't going to
It
talk
doesn't
about the
work over free.
losers. I thought you were going to talk about the
No.
losers next.
I'm saying these are the people who are going to win. These are the people who are going to win. Don't be more heated. But these are people who will win. People who come into the space and are willing to adopt, are willing to pay attention to what's actually going on in the ecosystem. The second group, community. I mean, people who are willing to build a community, people who are willing to commit time to community. We've seen time and time again that these are the biggest winners in the space. The projects that have the best communities typically do the best. We see this in live, in real time with Parallel over the course of 3 years of this being demonstrated. And the people who participate and actually give back to communities do well. And we see this happening in real time with somebody like ICO Beast, right? I think participating and building around communities are incredibly important. Those people will be winners in 2025. And I think the most important group are people who are willing to try things, willing to get involved, willing to pay attention to things that are going on in the space and build products that actually matter. I think too often we see people build products that nobody fucking asked for because the tech is cool. And instead, we should see people actually getting in the trenches, actually learning how to trade, actually understanding how ecosystem and the community and the people in the Web3 space operate, and then build products that actually solve those problems. We've seen this with Bullex. We've seen this with Photon. We're seeing it with things like Rickbot on Telegram. These are real problems for real people in Web3. It's incredible tech, yes, but more importantly, it actually solves an issue and isn't just tech for the point or the sake of tech's sake.
Great takes from Knock. Love to hear it. Let's go over to Wild Paul, then Nick Greenwald, then we're moving on to the losers of 2025.
I just have to thank you, Sam, because gamified, as almost always, is like a lifeline for me. You know, sometimes when you're out there and just like dealing with Web3 crypto Twitter, where people aren't really live connecting, but they're just anonymously posting shit, it it sometimes can start to feel a little like maybe they don't want what we are and what we're trying to do, and maybe they just want hype and promises and narratives and not real products. And you know, and getting on GameFight and hearing all these impassioned pleas and takes and enthusiasm for the real things and for the hard work is just very uplifting for me. Okay, so I just wanted to it just this is what I'm about to say is going to sound like financial advice, but it's not financial advice. But let's pretend that we were all making hedge funds that was going to take different bets, and we're doing it based on Sam's thing, like what's going to succeed in 2025. I would actually divide this into three different like hedge funds, or let's call them tiers. So let's say B tier, A tier, S tier. B tier are like brand new ideas, new teams that haven't shipped things before, maybe just started doing work in Web3. Maybe they brought together some great game designer from Team X and Game Y with some Web3 degen for whatever, and they have some big new idea and they're going to launch a token before they even have a product. Okay. If those people have great pedigrees, there's a chance that they might win. And there's a good chance they might be able to develop a strong narrative that leads to like hype and FOMO and some momentum. But in B tier, like it's all like 100 to it's 100x bets or zero. And if you looked at that total fund, the B tier hedge fund, it's probably actually down bad at the end of the year. Even there will be a certain set of people who like were able to just play it just right and got their 1000x and got out. But overall that fund's down. Now let's look at the A tier. The A tier is probably where I would put teams like Wildcard, actually, like our own game, which is like this is a team that's been working hard for a while. They have great talent. They are a team that has believably shipped good things together before, and they've been able to fuse the traditional Web 2 talent together with Web 3 DNA. And so they've got the right ingredients in place, but they haven't shipped yet. So they're not actually out there learning the real lessons of having a live product and monetizing and all that kind of stuff, but they have a good shot. So in this bucket, I think you got these 10 to 20 X's, but you're also still going to have some flameouts that had a lot of great momentum, a lot of great enthusiasm, but the reality is some games just don't resonate with the audiences they were hoping to reach, and like that's just the reality of it. And when you are in that situation, it is what it is, and you know, okay. And then S tier, S tier is the Maple Stories, is the Pixels, is the about to be Fableborns. These are the teams, and I love pointing to Pixels because these are the teams that have already had a product live. They were A tier and they graduated to S tier because they shipped a while ago. And they've just been out there building and monetizing and learning how to actually connect with both Web 2 and Web 3 gamers for over a year now, and quietly, or more than a year, just grinding at that and getting really fucking good at it. And like when you look at the actual results of that, this is the fun that you're like, I hope I can get into it. Like I hope there's room because like these teams are almost definitely going to win. Like the risk profile is very low because they're already at. Like I love how Luke just gets out there with the Pixels team and talks about like, you know, last year it was for every dollar he gave out in rewards, he took in 50 cents in revenue. And then he just launched this new thing that actually took in more revenue than the rewards. And it's like he didn't think he was going to get there that quickly. But I've watched that progression. He started out at like 20% return, and now you know he's already over one or over 100%. That's huge. Those are the teams that have most of my attention because there's just nothing that replaces experience and just out there shipping things and trying to reach product market fit and revenue. So that's how I would rank it.
Great one, Paul. I'm going to send us over, though, to the losers. It's time to get a little bit spicy. I've been looking forward to this one all day. Knock seemed the most enthusiastic about it, so I'm going to send it over to him, and then Jerry had the hand up next. Knock, what's your Muy Caliente losers for 2025, buddy?
Oh my god, the whiners, the holier than thous, you are all going to fucking crash and burn in 2025. And it's probably overdue. I'm so tired of the number of teams who enter this space and complain about the quality of their product versus somebody else's product, the X over this, the Y versus that, but they don't play the Web3 game. It's like we're all playing ice hockey here, but not only do you not know how to skate, but you don't want to learn how to skate, and you're complaining about the fact that the game is unfair. Well, you're in the wrong fucking sport, and I think that that is something that too many teams have been trying to do for too long. If you're unwilling to build community in the space, you're going to fail. If you're unwilling to learn how to build community in the space, you're going to fail. If you're more concerned about things like our tech is better than theirs or our product is better than theirs, and you're unwilling to understand what people actually want and deliver a product that they care about instead of just a product that is the most technically savvy, you're going to lose. I think that this has been proven time and time again. I don't even think necessarily that this is my opinion. We've seen this over the course of the last 5 to 7 years in this space. If you put 100 teams in the room and you put MetaMask in there with that team, people will complain. MetaMask hasn't shipped anything in 7 years. And I would still pick MetaMask to be the one team in that room to be around in 7 years because they've delivered a product that people use on a daily basis. They've amassed a massive fucking war chest that'll allow them to continue to take shots on goal. And everybody else will cry about, well, our wallet is better and our tech is better and our product is this. And you didn't raise any money, you didn't acquire any users because you didn't listen to the things that people wanted. If you're a whiner, if you're somebody who refuses to participate in the ecosystem, you're going to lose in 2025. It's going to hurt. And we're probably all going to be better for it because you are not actually an active participant. You're a passenger, you're a spectator, you're somebody who wants to come in here and scream about how you're building the thing that is better than everybody else's thing without actually listening to the people that you say you're building that thing for. It's just ridiculous. We've seen it time and time again. We've seen it in recent weeks. We're going to see it again in the next few weeks. We're going to see it 55 more times over the course of the calendar year. It's never going to go away, but those teams will always lose. And I think the same is true for participants in the space. If you purchase a coin or you purchase an NFT and you complain about how your coin didn't go up, but Fart Coin ran to $1 billion, well, you're not playing the fucking game right because obviously something like Fart Coin is going to go to $1 billion. I mean, I think at some point you have to understand the culture of the space that you're participating in. You have to understand what moves markets. You have to lean into those markets. We can complain about what product has a better structure or a better foundation. You can complain about memes going on billion-dollar runs, but ultimately that is the ecosystem that you've chosen to participate in. And if you don't play by the rules of that ecosystem, or at the very least make an effort to understand those rules, you are probably going to lose more often than not.
Great takes from Knock and delivered with some fucking reverse enthusiasm, whatever whatever the word for that would be. Let's go to Matthew Buxton, and then we'll tag in Tony.
Yeah, the word was venom, venom for that one. And he delivered it incredibly well. I'm going to say, I think there's some big losers in 2025. I mean, they get a lot of shit. I do feel a bit sorry for them, but VC funds are going to continue to get dumped on as more and more of those mid-tier projects fail, because there's plenty of projects that, as Nock points out, played the game. The ones that hit the metas, that build the communities, they're going to survive. The ones that didn't, they're going to go down. And that's a lot of mid-tier projects, the ones that are not funded to the level of, say, just much more than a normal Web 2 game, because making Web 3 games is fucking expensive, and doing it in a good way that you can actually give back to the community and make people rich early on, which gives you that community and giving back and all the rest of it, is expensive as well. And that's the whole thing. You have to give out before you get back in this space. And a lot of people didn't take enough money in the 2022 to 23 period. They're going to get fucked. And the VCs are going to get double fucked because they've been throwing money at terrible zombie projects that are only surviving because they had some pumponomics. And these things are only surviving and will die out. So the other losers, I think, it's going to be community. There is going to be some really big projects getting absolutely cut down to size. There's going to be some NFT holders who are going to be crying that these games have not gone the way they want. And I do think that we've been basically sucking liquidity and good sentiment from the community on shitty projects. And this, I could see it. There's a risk if something like Abstract comes along and everyone hypes and FOMOs into there, you're going to get a lot of hollow projects and a lot of sort of videos with just an NFT just to cash in and no delivery. There's a little risk about people jumping on that FOMO train. Community is always going to be the ones who don't take the calls fast enough and get their asses kicked hardest in this cycle.
Great stuff, Matthew. Let's go over to Tony from the Wanderers. Then I'll tag in Koji next.
Hard to follow. Hard to follow Knock's impassioned rant. That was great, Knock, and similar to my perspective. So I'll take it from a different perspective. I think the losers are really going to be people that are very invested in uh, ensuring that their product is the flagship for whatever it is that they care about, right? It feels like we hear from a few of these folks pretty regularly that they are going to be the best DPIN or the best, like Knock was saying, wallet. And I think that the people that are able to show up first with product are going to win. The people that show up with vaporware are not. And Matthew, I hope that I'm living in the world that's like Bizarro Matthew world, but I happen to think that the losers are going to be the people that show up and try to run the playbook that Matthew's describing. I feel like as a community, as an industry, I guess that's when I talk about product maturity and industry maturity. I really feel like I hope anyway, we've had our last, insert picture, no website, have three people that may have been a assistant producer on Need for Speed 2 on the Nintendo 64 kind of team. I don't think that those people are going to win in this cycle. I think those people are going to I think they're going to show up in droves. I think they're all going to come out into the middle of the road and try to wash our windshields and ask us for $5, but I don't think we're going to give them $5 this time. I think that we're going to keep our windows closed.
I hope not. I hope not.
Great takes, Tony.
Best I can do is give him 10.
Sorry, go ahead, Knock.
I said best we can do is give him 10, Tony, because realistically that's what's going to happen.
There's a great comment from Zelshko in the audience. He said, regarding the winners in 2025, it's actually the builders that attend spaces like this. I know it sounds cringe, but why? One, you can't build a good game without sharing your thoughts with other smart people. Two, attendance shows passion and how much they care. Three, it's one of the best ways to build community and bring owners of other communities to your game. And fun fact, you'll see the same people coming over and over versus others that never show up. Couldn't agree more with you there, brother. Thanks for joining and sharing your thoughts. Let's go over to Koji, then we'll tag in Sinjin.
I mean, my answer to this question is going to be pretty similar to the answer to this last question, which is all the people on this panel. We're going to be the biggest fucking losers because myself more than anybody else, because we're going to sit here and complain about how certain things in Web3 are bullshit and this should change and we need good games and all the same shit that we always talk about. And yeah, it's probably not going to change. Man, tokens are going to rip. People are going to, buy in a meme coin nonsense. Like all the snake's going to continue to eat its own tail. And, but there'll be some good product. I mean, there'll definitely be some good products. So there will be some winners, as mentioned earlier. But, you know, all of us losers here in Web3 are still going to be losers. So.
I can't wait to mid curve absolutely everything and end up with the exact same amount of money that I started with. It's going to be great. Let's tag in Jerry next.
I think the biggest losers by far are going to be the legacy projects that, and specifically the ones that haven't been able to like establish a brand. I think this is a year where a lot of those guys just call it quits and money's gone, and they tried their level best, but it didn't work, right? So I think you look at, and I mean, I think Knock's been talking about this. I've been talking about this, in kind of private chats, but like we're all cutting those bags and we're all just cutting those losses on, like, I was in an AI project. I had bags in an AI project that started to ship in like early 2021. And I was always hopeful that they would catch a bid and that they would come back. And then this AI narrative popped up and I just realized it's over. And so they pumped a little bit and I sold all of my shit on that because they've had so much time to do something and they haven't been able to do anything. And so I think you're going to see people who've been around cut a lot of those bags and it's really going to hurt a lot of teams. So if those legacy projects that never established a brand or they never established a community or they never shipped something and they never tried, they're going to fall apart this year. Now that doesn't, it's not to say like I'm not talking about the Star Atlases of the world or obviously like the Pudgies or the Wilder Worlds. Like those guys will be fine because they've done the Web3 shit. But there's a lot of teams that are in Web3 but haven't done Web3 shit at any point along the way, and they're not going to start understanding it now. The space is now moving at such a fast pace that if you man, I can't even imagine what it was like for Nock to go in a coma and then come back to a different world. That's like the space we're moving at right now. So I think those guys are gonna be some of the bigger losers, and I think just across any team, the teams that are unable to trim the fat and start to build and ship and try shit quickly, which is very counterintuitive to just the games industry, but you're seeing now teams that are trying shit and just moving fast and they're agile, they're finding success and they're finding things they're finding themselves in these pockets that are working and they're catching bids. And look at some of the major protocols we're all interacting with. They probably pivoted. They probably were building something else and then decided to go do it wasn't working. They trimmed, they pivoted, they did it quickly, and now they own those narratives. And there's, for every one team that does that, there's 99 that don't have the ability or the talent or the foresight to do that. And I think, yeah, this is the year of speed. This is the year of trying shit. This is the year of agility, and this is the year of you know delivering or not. And we'll see some of those guys do really well, and we'll see a lot of them fail.
Interesting. I'm inclined to agree with you because that's just the way that this market works. However, I really want to see games actually commit to what their core product is and release that core product because it's a good product and not because it somehow integrates AI in some half-assed way. Please, for the love of God. Let's go over to Nick Greenwald from the Wanderers. I'm starting to run out of time in this show, but I want to make sure we get everybody's take. Who's the loser for 2025 in your opinion?
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go rogue here. I think the losers are people who are gonna ship things. I don't think that's what anybody in this industry wants. I think the more that you ship, the better the product, the worse effect it has on performance and your mental health and your team and everything involved with that. I think the best thing you could do is be really flashy and get really close to shipping things. And yeah, and then alongside that, I would say it's going to be the cynics. I've always hated cynics. I think being skeptical is a great thing. Ooh, this seems a little suspicious. I wonder how this will do. But the people who are cynical, rooting for things to fail, cannot I hate AI, so I refuse to participate in these trends, or I hate the rules around this airdrop, and that we have to retweet things now. Like, I think the people who simply their morals are too strong, and it will prevent them from actually, jumping in the fart coins of the world, are also going to be the biggest losers. I think that for everyone, if you want to win, you have to look at the AAA game that's being made and the Telegram game that's being made, and they are equal. The customer is always right. You are not the arbiter of quality. And only look at the guy next to you in Walmart, and that is the person who is right. Their opinion is what matters, not yours. So builders and what did I say? Builders and not pessimists. Whatever, you guys heard it.
Cynics.
I'm blacked out right now.
I fucking
Cynics.
love that guy.
Yeah, Nick.
What he said. I love
Nick,
that
those
guy.
people already lost is the thing. Like your last point, those people are already losers. They were born losers. They're still losers to this day. Like those people lost already.
Yeah, that makes me feel better. Thank you for saying that.
I take offense to that.
I mean, we started the show saying Knock was the biggest loser.
Fresh off the presses. Let's go to Ronan from Game 7. What's your biggest loser of 2025, brother?
Yeah, I think we all covered like most of the losers. It seems like everybody's gonna be losing here, but I think something that nobody mentioned is anybody that's still gonna own any of the AI agent coins in December 2025 is probably gonna lose. The stake is just not there yet, and I think it's speculative and kind of like the cycles happen again. So just be on the watch out.
I like that one. That was a great take. Wild Paul, you're up next, and we'll go to Zen.
Gosh, I love this panel and these folks. This is so good. We are on fire with Gamified this year. I agree with Jerry. I agree with I basically the speech that Jerry gave is one that I gave to my team this morning. It was like, y'all, I we don't have control of this, but the window is opening and we get a choice to make now. We are either going to be there at that window when it opens or we're gonna miss it. And we're not gonna miss it. And we're also not gonna miss it because we're standing on principles or something that we believe so strongly in because it has to be that way that it can't be a fart coin or whatever. Like I just agree with everything. And and the way I would put it is there's what I hope are going to be the biggest losers, but I don't know if they're going to be the big. I hope that the biggest losers are that window opens and it turns out that this time there are a bunch of real products ready to go through that window and shame the hype-filled empty, nothings. And that those people are like, oh shit, that game's over. We can't do that anymore because now the meta is you actually have to show revenue. You actually have to show real DAU. You actually, otherwise, like, don't even show up. I hope that happens. But if it doesn't, those people won't be the losers. They'll actually be the winners. So it's up to us. And we have to be so agile and so fast. There is no time now that the opportunity has shown up. And, Jerry said it's this year. Fuck that. It's not this year. It's this quarter, man. Maybe this half if we're lucky. The fact that you would think that it would extend all the way to the end this year is wildly optimistic. And maybe it does. And
Just
that would be great.
compliment me. Don't compliment me and then call me a dumbass.
Sorry, but I am definitely not acting like I have the whole year
Hey,
to
Paul,
make it into that window.
serious question here. I know you're anti-crunch, but are you guys going to crunch this year?
Wait, like we already aren't? Like I haven't been crunching since literally fucking October. Look,
All
dude.
right, all right.
Here's I just want to give you guys a really candid take on this. We headed into October. We started to have a conversation with our team and said, guys, this is either going to go one way or the other with this election. And if it goes one way, there will be a crunch that is the hardest we've ever done, and we can't control that. And the outcome in November, and you guys already know my politics, or most of y'all who are my friends do. So putting that aside, and certainly putting aside Katie's politics, which are aligned with mine, uh, it doesn't, the politics don't matter. The reality of it is that we got such a clear message in November about the direction we're heading that there was no other choice. It was like, well, that's it, guys. That means that this is probably the most important moment of our entire careers. And we're either going to lean into that or we're not. And by the way, we are, and our team, and that's it. And so yeah, I don't like calling it crunch anymore necessarily because I think that all changed after the pandemic and we all have different ways of managing our time. And when we work from home in hybrid environments, it's all different. But yeah, this is going to be the hardest we've ever worked because the opportunity is now.
Crazy timing on this one. I'm actually listening to Blood, Sweat, and Pixels on audiobook right now. And I wrote a topic that's evergreen about crunch, which we'll get to in the next few weeks. You guys will see that. Thanks for the insight, though. Paul. Let's go over to Sinjin. We're running out of time though, guys, and then we got to fit in the MVP of the episode. So if you want to tell me who your MVP is as well, I'm happy to take that knowledge. Sinjin, over to you.
I think the biggest losers really is most of Web3 gaming. You know, and the reason why, and I want to really be fucking clear about this, it's because they're not really taking the right bet. They're not really taking the asymmetric bet that really is here. If you're talking about like, we're not going to ship, we're going to wait for the right time for the TGE, you know, we want to get this, we want to find this formula, and even like looking at community, we want to get a community this size, we want this, we want that. You're a bunch of fucking pussies, right? You're a fucking pussy for not shipping and going for a game, because if you really fucking think about it, if a fucking fart meme coin can get to 1 billion, if like 500 million for AI, like LMM agents are going like for like 500 million, where do you think gaming really should be going for Web3 if you're really doing it right? Like a lot of the people who are really here, who are old school, who came in and then came into this industry and then doing it like Wild Paul, and I want to say myself as well. Like seriously, if you're not going for a $5 billion solid fucking, you know, like valuation here, whether it's on your token or whether it's on your game, why the fuck are you here? And never has there ever been in the transitions between different technologies, right? Or really huge leaps in functionality, has there been safe bets where like, okay, we're going to go for like 5x, we're going to go for 10x. No, you know, like it's just fucking like orthogonal. And the thing is for myself, like why I'm here in Web3 and I'm still like, you know, I'm always kind of like the odd man out. And the reason why is because I'd like to know what the fuck is going on. I wanted to know whether or not my thesis is correct. And if you look at the metrics for our game, our community isn't huge. We don't have big volume on our NFTs, but I love my community. My community knows what's going on. They're there. They don't sell our tokens. We're their long-term bet. And I wanted it, and I'm happy with that. I'm happy with understanding, you know, where we're at, because the reality is that I don't give a fuck about $1 billion fucking TGE, right? Like that's not the fucking point. Like we need to be like, if meme coins are at 1 billion, we need to be as an industry launching or being able to get up to like 5, 10 billion, 15 billion, even if it's not totally sustainable, to like really capture what we're fucking doing here. And the losers are going to be everyone who's just trying to make the right steps and look sexy, because they're going to be fucking insignificant when the real winners come.
Great take from Sinjin. Wow, I'm calling that one the spiritual successor to Knox take, which I would have voted 81% that I wanted over an original take if I was given a poll. No, seriously, great stuff. Let's go over to Zen Wilder from Wilder World.
Yeah, I think, you know, the energy really is heating up here, and I really love that take. And I thought what Sinjin just mentioned and Paul before that, it is something that I've been contemplating on a lot. Like, I'd like to hope, or we all, I think, you know, building in this space for so many years, we'd like to hope that the space matures a little bit and like the real projects come out on top. But I think, you know, if we see it where other technologies lead to as well, if we look at social media, what are the trends there? You know, what does just the new generation really care about? It is really more about, you know, making sure that it looks good and making sure that, you know, the cabal is taking care, like is taking notice of it to, in order for it to push it. So it is a I think one thing also that we haven't mentioned is the capital inflow going into crypto this year will be different to what it was over the last 4 or 5 years. We're seeing now nation states, you know, playing in there. We're seeing, you know, the different countries wanting to build up crypto reserves. So this is something that we have to take into the mix, is to understand where the capital is coming from. That once retail enters in and apes into the space, it might just be very different to how it was before. And so this is something that will be really interesting to see. Who will be the losers, who will be the winners. I'd like to think that with, you know, big capital coming in from bigger countries and big institutions, it would probably be a bit more centralized, a bit more isolated where the value accrues. But yeah, I agree. I think those that are not able to write or to capture mind share in 2025 will be the biggest losers, whereas those that can continuously build their communities, build a product, but also actually unfortunately play the marketing game really right, will be the ones that come out on top. But it'll be yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But I think, yeah, many interesting takes being brought here before me. I think it would be a very interesting game to see what's going to happen in 2025. But those that really only focus on tech, on product, it's yeah, I think unfortunately might not come out at top at the end.
Great take there, Zen. As is tradition, the first episode back, not only am I overbooking the panel, I'm also going to be running a little bit late on this one. Sorry, guys, we're going to cross the next hour as we get to the MVP votes. I want to get Wild Paul's take on who the loser in 2025 is going to be, and then I also want his take on who the MVP of the panel is for today.
Actually, I already did the loser one, so I'm going to go straight to the MVP. But I did want to say one thing. So first of all, I'm just going to say my MVP is Sinjin because there were such incredible takes. My MVP has switched like 10 times over this. Like Matthew, incredible. Jerry, incredible. But Sinjin wins because he dropped the hardest truth. And there's just one little piece of data I want to share with you guys, a little bit of alpha. We ran an event in December that was not widely publicized. It was at Art Basel. It was kind of mostly for our holders. And we saw some incredible things. So at the high level, the alpha is a small group of we ran the like one of the world's first VIP streams, Web3 VIP streams. We gave out $50,000 of USDC, but the most incredible thing is there was $100,000 of sales of revenue to get access to that 50,000. So that was really, really interesting and like got us onto the beginning of this cycle of like, oh, thank God we finally shipped a thing that we get real data from. But as to Sinjin's point, one of the things that was most interesting about the data we extracted from this event, even though it was a very thin, there's only less like, a couple thousand people that participated. But I thought one of the most interesting stats was we actually did this wallet scraping and just looked at public blockchain data and trade and transaction history across the wallets. And despite there being a tremendous number of assets and value in these people's wallets, their net trading like balance was negative. It was like negative 300,000. There was like millions and millions of dollars of trades and value held in these wallets. But when we actually looked at their trade histories, it was like this group as an aggregate is down like $300,000 over the last year. And I was like, it just plays directly into what Sinjin said, which is despite us having some exciting moments in Web3 gaming over the last year, we're actually all down. We need to change that. This needs to be the year where when I do that thing at the end of this year and I look at those stats from those wallets, it's like we're all up 20% on average. Because otherwise, like we're just trading each other's money around. We're not really moving the needle. So let's do better this year.
Great data there, Wild Paul. Thanks for sharing. I would hope you have time to join us again next week because I do really, really want to get your take on Luke and the Pixels methodology for making a sustainable play to earn. It seems like that anecdotal experience of your own would tie in really, really nicely with that. So I look forward to visiting that with you next week. Knock, who's your MVP of the episode, brother?
Yeah, gotta give it to Sinjin. Absolutely love the spice, and I agree with like 90% of it. So I love it.
Sinjin goes 2 for 2. Zen, who you got MVP of the episode, my man?
I like. I'll vote for Knock this time.
Sorry, Mark? Who did I get?
Knock. I
Oh,
think I
Knock.
really love
Who's that?
Knock's
I
energy
believe
and
that was a
ranting about the
begrudging
space.
vote for
I was
me.
like, holy shit, did I have a person up here whose name I just don't even know? Thanks, man. That makes more sense. Shout out to Knock. Let's go to Tony. Tony from the Wanderers. Who's your MVP of the day, brother?
It's gonna be my founder, my boy Nick. I think he's the funniest human being on X, and he's also a grinder. And his takes are great, and they're delivered with humor. I love you, Nick.
Dude, Nick really did come in from the top rope and drop some absolute heaters. Nick, who's your MVP of the day? Wow, the silence speaks volumes. None of you peasants are worth Nick's vote. Let's go to Sinjin. Who's your MVP, brother?
Paul's always the default and Knock as well. But if all these guys are really good. Today, Knock always brings us solid points, and I really appreciate him. And I'm glad he's out of his coma. And Happy New Year's, brother.
Aren't we all, man? Great to have the legend back on the panel. Both shows, by the way, week after week. Let's go to Koji next. Koji, who's your MVP of the day?
I want to give it to Knock because I feel bad about making fun of his coma or playing it for laughs, but I'm not going to. Only because I think sometimes we take the ferocity of Sinjin for granted, and it's probably not fair. His takes are always so fucking good, and I mean, maybe some people stop listening when he calls them peons, but he's right. I mean, we are peons, and his takes are 100% correct. Like, let's not go for the 10x.
we are we are peons. We identify as peons. Nick, going back to you. You left and came back. I assume was a technical issue. If not, way to play it off.
I think that was an unfortunate time to have that bug where you can't hear shit from anyone and you just see everyone reacting and you don't really know what is happening. But keeping the same vein, I'm going to give it to the Silent Avalanche co-host. I think people need to listen more and speak less. So yeah, I just really appreciate the vibe, the presence that gives off. So yeah.
Shout out to Alex Akiyama if it is indeed him. Appreciate you, man. Let's go to Matthew Buxton. Who's your MVP?
I mean, everyone was absolutely fire. Like Knock, obviously Sinjin, Koji with being this sort of Eeyore of the space. I'd have to say Jerry for me today had some very good level takes. And yeah, I'd say that he came across as sensible and determined.
Was a great episode from Jerry. Was a great episode from the entire panel. Thanks, guys, again for coming back after the holiday, bringing some fresh energy, bringing some hot takes. I know it's a little bit tougher on you guys too. Whenever I say something abstract, like give me a loser for 2025, you don't want to step on anybody's toes. You don't want to be too mean. But I appreciate you guys being willing to go there. Let's send it over to Ronan from Game 7. Ronan, who's your MVP?
I'll take Nick for being blacked out and still making sense for what he's saying. I'll give him that.
Nick's
I've had
got
practice. Thank you.
Nick's got two coming in out of the blue. Appreciate it. Will Spangler and then Jerry. Will, who's your MVP?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna vote Nick as well. Supporting the Avalanche ecosystem in ways that I couldn't even fathom.
I'm doing
Amazing.
my part.
Jerry, who's your MVP, buddy?
Yeah, Nick had me in a coma today because I was laughing so hard on this side of the mic. Yeah, I think Nick is. I'm very impressed by Nick. Not just a funny guy. I mean, I think we should also give him credit for saying some insightful shit. And admittedly, a game I haven't been looking at as much, even though I love Tony. I only started looking when Tony got involved there, but I think the guy's head's in the right place, and definitely something I need to pay much more attention to. But I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't also shout out Sinjin, because Sinjin operates. You could tell the fire's back in Sinjin, and I love seeing that because when Sinjin's lit up, I mean, I got to work with him for a while, and I've known Sinjin for a couple years, and when when he's got the fire in him, the guy's unstoppable, and he's a very good voice for the space. Doesn't always say the things we want to hear, but I think more often than not says the things that this industry needs to hear. Shout out to Sinjin on that.
Well, we had 3 votes for Sinjin, 3 votes for Nick, and then that kind of sounded like half of a vote for each of them. So I think the only thing to do is give them both 30 seconds of FaceTime. Let's go to Sinjin first. Sinjin, what you got? What should people be looking at? What do you want to put attention on?
Yeah, no, just happy New Year's, everybody. We're launching, and we don't need any you peons to help us. So we're going to do a national launch here in Thailand. But to my Web3 community out there, the hardcore 40 of you guys, I love you guys very much. You'll always be that special place in my heart.
I'm sure they love you right back. Nick, I know the TG is coming up in a couple of days. Plug whatever you want, man. Congrats on the FaceTime.
Well, thank you. And I'm just going to say, look, all the time in this industry, we're talking about we need real experienced builders to come in here and ship good products. Unfortunately, that is not us. We have absolutely no experience doing what we're doing. We have no right to be here. We have no right, especially to be up on the stage with people making really impressive things. All I can say, all I can offer, we're not talented. We're not good looking. We literally have no money. That said, we are full steam ahead. All I can tell you is that we like crypto. We like having fun. We somehow, me and a couple of other people who I would call them intelligent, myself not so much. We stumbled into great success with an awesome community and really, really beautiful, strong people backing us, supporting us, and friends with us. So, have no fucking idea what we're doing, but we're gonna make it
I
work.
take my vote back. Nick gets my vote. Sorry, Sinjin. That was like, it's like that meme, that one guy who's like, I have no technical experience. I don't know how to make music. Like, you just channeled that perfectly.
Well, I would say we're all fucked except for this is what Koji tells us literally all the time, and Parallel is chilling at like fucking $1.7 billion market cap or
Dude,
something with
as
like
as
Yeah,
he
I
was
know. And he's
speaking,
like calling himself a loser earlier. Like, what the
yeah,
fuck, man?
as he was speaking, I was like, this guy's my spirit animal. This is exactly how I feel. Like, I don't know if that was satire, but that's exactly how I feel.
I wish it was satire. I don't. It's just pure truth here. There's
Dude, I love it. As always, the winner of 2025 in my book is the gamified panel. Well, really, it's me because somehow I get to profit off of the success of how amazing this panel is every single week. Also, the listeners who get to listen to these guys wax poetic and give us amazing truths about Web3 gaming. And as we chill out on this captivating conversation, let's give a frosty farewell and a flurry of gratitude to our friends at Avalanche. They're the cool cats of the crypto sphere, the pioneers of the permafrost, and the official blockchain of gamified. Don't be left shivering in the cold. Join solo leveling, T1 Esports, Off the Grid, the California DMV, Maple Story, and so many others in building your very own L1 blockchain to your very own specifications. Thank you to Avalanche. And of course, let's give a thunderous thank you to Star Atlas, the official game of Gamified, our interstellar sponsor. Star Atlas has been spending the bear market building a universe pushing Web3 boundaries and setting new standards in transparency and player ownership. Star Atlas believes in showing, not telling, so I'm not going to spoil 2025 for you yet, but go to play.staratlas.com and check out the Golden Carnival to get involved and win your share of the loot. Remember, with Star Atlas, you're not just a player, you are a pioneer. And of course, Game 7 is flipping the script on traditional gaming grinds. Forget those greedy gatekeepers hoarding all the loot. Game 7 is putting their gold where their game is, ensuring 80% of the revenue goes straight back to the players. With over 150 games already on board, Game 7 isn't just pressing continue, they're shattering records and respawning us into a brighter gaming future. So grab your game pads and get ready to conquer the next era of gaming with Game 7 and get in touch with the official infrastructure of Gamified. Love each and every one of my sponsors. Thank you so much for letting me continue to do what I'm so passionate about in 2025. Again, thank you to the panelists and the listeners. I always get a little bit concerned. I was like, oh, the holiday people are we're not gonna be around. People are gonna take it off their calendar and stuff. And instead, we had an absolutely awesome episode. So thank you guys for making my imposter syndrome go like 5% away for 2 hours. That felt really good. I can't wait to do it again next week. Of course, join us on Gamified and Simplified. We're back to 4 p.m. Eastern every single week on Monday and Wednesday, and we'll see you for the next episode.